The very first step in filing for your allocation of parental responsibilities case would be to file. Now, if you're watching from the divorce video, there are some unique rules when it comes to filing a case regarding children. So please stay tuned until the end of the video to hear a few of those differences. So before we get there are two main ways to file. One is as a single filer, and one is as two people filing together as co-petitioners. So a single filer is when one parent, in this case, goes to the court and files the paperwork on their own. They are asking the court to take a role in the relationship between them, the other parent, and their children. In this case, when only one person is filing the paperwork, you will have issues of service, meaning you will have to serve the paperwork on the other parent before the case can proceed. I will go over all the details that you need to know about service in the next video. The other way to file, as I mentioned, is both parents together going and filing what's called a co-petition. You will have a petitioner and a co-petitioner. You're both asking the court to play a role in your relationship with your child. In this case, there are no issues of service because both parties are aware that the court case is happening and both of you are filing together. So formal service is not needed because you will both be signing your petition. In a single filer, the person filing the paperwork is called the petitioner, and then the other parent would be called the respondent. They are responding to the original petition. And a respondent would have 21 days to file a response with the court after they've been served. So everyone will have to file something, whether you are filing by yourself as a single filer or whether both parents are filing together as co-petitioners. At some point in the process, everyone will need to file their paperwork. Now, there are a few rules that need to be known when it comes to determining where to file. When it comes to an allocation of parental responsibilities case, or APR, you first will need to determine, has the child or children in the case lived in Colorado for more than 162 days, which is about 6 months? Or have they lived in Colorado since the date of birth if they're under 6 months? Due to the way the rules work for kids, a state can only have jurisdiction, they only have authority over a child if that child has lived there for more than 6 months. If you have recently moved from Nebraska or another state and your child has only been here for a few months, then Colorado cannot have jurisdiction yet, and you either need to go back and file in the state you were at before, or you would need to wait until 6 months have passed, and then Colorado can have jurisdiction over your child. So that's the main issue. Then determining what county you should file in, basically file in the county that your child is living in. If that is not with you, say they're living with another individual, the other parent, and they live in a different county than you live in, you need to file in the county that the child spends the majority of their time. If it's a split situation, they spend 50-50 time in your county and the other county, I would pick the county that seems the most convenient for everyone. And the last thing that you'll need to know is everyone will have to pay a filing fee, whether you file as a sole filer and then the respondent will have to pay a fee when they file their response, or whether you're both filing as co-petitioners. When you file your first set of paperwork with the court, there is always a filing fee. Now, you can apply for reduced fees or a waived fee, and they can help you get that form either at the clerk's office or the self-help center. So the forms that you will need to file. I'm going to show you how to find those forms first of all. I always start by just telling people to Google Colorado State Courts, like I've done here. And the website, make sure it has a .co. It'll tell you that that's the official one. I just click on Colorado Judicial Branch, and this is what the website will look like. Now, you can either click here for self-help/forms, or it's right at the top as well, and it'll take you to this page. There are a couple of ways that you can find the forms that you're going to need. You can go by category and go down to family cases, and there's child custody without a marriage. This would be an APR case when the parties were not married. And there's questions and paperwork that way. Now you can also go to all court forms. And again, it'll go by categories. And there's an alphabetical. You can go by alphabet if you know the title of your form, or JDF number, which is what I give you in this video. I give you both the name of the form and the JDF number. I find searching by the JDF number, if you have it, pretty easy. So that's how you find the forms that I will be telling you about in the rest of the videos. The first form that you will need to know about is called just the information sheet. And this is the court caption. This you will see on every single form that you have to file with the court. And you will always need to fill it out. So here you would indicate district court, unless you're in juvenile court, which you probably won't be. They have kind of different rules. So district court, you would put what county you're in here, and then the address of the court. And for this case, you would indicate in re parental responsibilities concerning and the name of your children or child. This is saying this case is only about our children. We weren't married. And then the name of the petitioner and either the co-petitioner or the respondent. And then once you file your first set of paperwork, they will give you a case number and that will go there. So when it comes to the domestic case information sheet, it's very basic information about the parties. So full name, date of birth, social security number, address, mailing address if it's different, and then that information for the other party. If you are not filing together, just do the best you can with information on the respondent and try to fill out as much as you can. Obviously, you might not know their social security number or all of their addresses or telephone numbers. Again, just do the best you can and fill it out as thoroughly as you can. Then you would need to list the full names of the children, where they are living, their sex, their date of birth, and social security number. Here's where you indicate if you plan to have an attorney or if you plan to not have an attorney. And then if you think the other party will have an attorney. This is just when you file this initial paperwork at that moment. You can get an attorney later at any point in the case, or you can start out with an attorney and decide later in the case that you don't need an attorney. So this is not a binding thing. That's just at that moment giving the court an idea whether you plan to have an attorney or not. And then you go ahead and sign this form. The second form that you will be filing, and this is the big one, is the petition for allocation of parental responsibilities. I'm sorry, the case information sheet was JDF 1000. The petition is JDF 1413. So, same issue as before, the caption, fill it out, district court, what your county is, address, your kids' names, both parents' names, and case number. So this is saying, I am petitioning the court to help determine allocation of parental responsibilities, or I'm petitioning the court to help determine child custody. So here, it's going to be similar to the domestic case information sheet you just filled out. You're going to put name, mailing address, that similar information. Then you're going to indicate who the petitioner is. Are you the mother, the father, non-parent? Are you a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, something like that? Or are you a non-parent who has had physical custody? Are you not a parent that has not had physical custody? Are you someone else? So you need to indicate your relationship. And then information about the other party. Similar, all their basic information, and again, what is their relationship? I will note that unfortunately, when it comes to the allocation of parental responsibilities paperwork, it is very, it's not super inclusive of other types of relationships. It assumes that there is a mother and father in every relationship for parent or for kids. And so you can either change the wording if it feels more comfortable for you, or you can indicate, and one of you can be mother, one of you can be father, even if that is not 100% accurate for your relationship. Like I said, unfortunately, the paperwork is not super inclusive and does not have options for other terms. Here, kids, again, same information as before. And then this is where you indicate whether the kids have lived in Colorado for 6 months prior to filing or since birth if they're under 6 months old. If they have not lived in Colorado the required amount of time, you need to put where they lived previously, what state, and when they moved. This is where you put each of the addresses the children have lived over the past 5 years and whom they've lived with in the relationship. This is just saying that if genetic testing is asked for by either party, the court is not going to frown upon it. It's not going to assume anything. It's not going to think anything. This says that you have a duty to inform the court of any proceeding in any other state that could affect this case. And basically, by giving the court authority in this case, the court has a right to look at any case anywhere that might involve the kids. So say you have a child support case in another state, this gives the court the right to review that if it feels like it would help make a determination in this case. Here's where you would list if there are any other cases involving your children in any other states. Was there, like I said, a child support case? Was there another custody case? Whatever kind of case involving your kids, you need to indicate it here. This is asking if there is any other proceeding involving the two parents that might need to be known about. Did you guys previously file for divorce but maybe didn't include the kids? Was there a domestic violence case? Are there protection orders, restraining orders, that kind of stuff? This is involving the parents, so you put that there. This is asking, are there parties who are not the parents? A grandparent, an uncle, a neighbor who the kids stayed with for 6 months that might have physical custody of the children or some kind of claim over the children, and you need to identify them. This is where you kind of summarize how you want the court to handle this. Would you like the court to allocate 50-50, parenting time and decision making to both parties? You want the petitioner to have everything, you want the respondent to have everything. Just a brief summary of what you would like the court to do in the case. It's not binding on the court, it's not binding on you if you change your mind. This is asking if you've received state benefits or public assistance from the Department of Human Services or the County Department of Social Services. If yes, you need to indicate the benefit, the state, county, case number. This is, again, letting the court know if there are prior protection orders or restraining orders. Please fill out that information so the court is aware and can take that into account. Do you have a previously existing case with child support enforcement? If yes, let them know the number of the case. Indian Child Welfare Act only applies if the child or the child's relatives have American Indian, Native American, or Alaska Native ancestry. So please indicate that there if you are aware. If you're not aware, that's okay, but if you do have some kind of knowledge, you need to indicate it there. The rules are a little different in that case. These are just a general information saying, you know, don't mess with the other person. Once this is filed, you can't flee the state with the child once this has been filed, and basically keep paying health insurance, keep paying any kind of coverage for the children until the court has more time to review the case. And then this is where you sign. If you are signing, or if you are filing by yourself, you sign this. Say what day, month, year, and where you signed it. If you're filing together, you would both sign it. And that is the petition. So that would be your initial filing with the court, asking them to have jurisdiction over this case. The last two forms, this is a summons, JDF 1414, for allocation of parental responsibilities. Again, same caption, fill that out. This is basically a piece of paper that you would give to the other party if you're single filer that tells them you are being requested by the court to show up, you're being requested by the court to file a response. Here's what you need to do, and just kind of tells them what's happening and what they need to do. That would go in your service packet, which I will go into more detail in the next video. The last piece of paper that you might get is called a CMO, a case management order. That's a little packet that kind of goes over common terms, court processes, and information you might need to know throughout this process. That is everything you need to know about filing. If you are watching from the dissolution video, you can go ahead and skip to the video talking about the parenting plan. Everything will be the same up until that point. And if you are here for the APR information, keep watching for the next video on service.